Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sen Taur Scrolls, Lore, Fire, and Forbidden Texts. With me, Reverend Mother Mary Catherine. Give me one moment. We are going to try to live on two platforms today, Facebook and the TT one. Okay, so um, give me 1 second. This is acting kind of weird. Let's see. I've never done a live on TikTok before, so that's why it's taking me a second. I didn't realize they wanted to verify my age. What? Okay, so I can see that that's going to take a little more work than what I'm up for now. Darn it. I was really hoping to get that to work. Okay, so if y'all are on TikTok, I'm on TikTok now, and be, welcome to follow me, and if you follow me, I'll follow you back, and all that kind of crazy stuff. Okay, so I only had one person. Thank you, Gina. Hope you don't mind the shout out. Who wanted to um, put a new title up for reading to vote, and she voted for History is Wrong by Erich von Däniken, which is a wonderful book. Now, the thing about some of these books is that we can't break copyright, and I wouldn't want to because I wouldn't want them to do that to me either. Um, but what I can do is small sections, and then, or, sections, and then we can do kind of a commentary on it. We just can't like read it straight through like we did Aradia because Aradia is in public domain, and so it was perfectly fine to do that. Um, History is Wrong by Erich von Däniken, translated by Nicholas Quantmere, and I'm probably murdering that name, Quantmere. It's published by New Page Books, a division of the Career Press Inc., Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and this copyright is for 2009. So fabulous. I have read this like twice, but it's a good book, and it's got a lot of good stuff in here. So we'll just start right out. An unusual question. My quick survey only took a couple of days. I started with my wife, the apple of my eye, and continued at the office. I asked everyone the same question. Then I called some of my relatives, and later, feeling a little plunkier, even complete strangers in a restaurant. Excuse me, could I ask you a question? I was polite, as one is, even though a lot of these guests simply wrinkled their brows in puzzlement, seemingly asking themselves, what the hell does this guy want? But in the end, I had asked 100 people, and that was enough. Have you ever heard of the Voynich manuscript? The what? Out of 100 people, only one had ever heard of the Voynich manuscript. And even then, knew nothing of any consequence. Voynich manuscript? Wasn't there something about that in PM magazine in Germany? Voynich? Some sort of secret code from the Second World War, a secret organization? Voynich. Yet there are countless pages about the Voynich manuscript on the internet, and he gives some examples. A site that also features countless links to other sources. Hundreds of treatises have been written about the Voynich manuscript by both scientists and laymen alike, including books, one of the best by the Britons Kennedy and Churchill. The Voynich manuscript. It contains the entire history of this puzzling and crazy document, including much of the speculation and attempts at deciphering the text. To be honest, just about everything that could be written about the Voynich manuscript has already been written, so it makes no sense to repeat it here. Nevertheless, there are still a few blank spots on the world map of Voynich scholarship. Interconnectedness that I had never encountered in any of the literature about the Voynich manuscript. Our way of thinking, so we believe, is characterized by logic and information. In reality, we are just like the verses of an enormous book, from which we don't even know the first 4,000 pages. We're living on a single page. And in terms of the entire composition, we know neither the vocabulary nor the alphabet. Today's reason cannot accept the reason of the past. And in so saying, I turn to the people who have remained intelligent, even while being a part of academia. My readers shouldn't end up like the 100 people I had questioned earlier. So for that reason, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the incredible Voynich manuscript. So we'll pause right there just for a second and give it a little commentary, just to do like I said earlier, so we don't break copyright. But the Voynich manuscript is actually one of my very favorite subjects. Um, I would love to see it, hold it in person, and see if what kind of feelings that I get from it. Because it seems like I have a knack for translating text, to say the least. It's possible, that just the right person hasn't looked at it yet. Or, there are some amazing starseeds on our planet right now that can feel things from objects and read things that other people can't read. And I even know of people who claim to see angels, and I believe them. If somebody says to me, I see an angel, I'm probably going to believe that, right? So who's to say that it's just a different language that we haven't been able to understand, right? The man behind the manuscript, on October 31st, 1865, in the city of Tisani in Lithuania, the Wundt family was blessed by the arrival of a son. Records show that they christened him Mikhail, but he changed this in later life to Wilfred. His father held a position in a government office and sent him first to school and then to university in Moscow, where he studied chemistry and qualified as a pharmacist. He became politically active, becoming involved with the Polish national movement, which was fighting to liberate Poland from the Russians. He joined a group of young activists who were attempting to save two of their comrades from execution This led to his arrest in 1885 and incarceration in solitary confinement in a Warsaw prison. In the summer of 1887, Wilfred was to be transported to a prison camp in Siberia, but somehow he escaped and went on the run. He made his way, no one quite knows how, to London, where he resurfaced 3 years later. Living in the London suburb of Chiswick, he met with a group of fanatical Englishmen and exiled Russians bent on ending the rule of the Tsar. They published a revolutionary magazine called Free Russia, which Wilfried Voynich, having angelicized his name, sold on the street. With the help of his girlfriend Ethel Bohl, he worked his way up to becoming manager of a small bookshop. In September of 1902, the two married, not purely for love, partially for convenience, as Wilfred wanted to take on British nationality, and he could only do this by marrying a British citizen. Wilfred Voynich led an exciting life with many ups and downs and was permanently short of money. Mr. and Mrs. Voynich began smuggling banned books to Russia, and Wilfred lived in constant fear of becoming the victim of political attack. So he traveled under a series of aliases, depending on which country he was in and what company he was keeping. Back in London, Voynich opened an how do you say that? Antiquarian bookshop and began buying up old manuscripts and books. The shop was soon a chaotic treasure trove of exotic parchments and printed material from throughout the centuries. Of the discovery of the most mysterious book in the world, Voynich claimed he had discovered it in an old castle in southern Europe. The richly colored manuscript had lain hidden in an old chest, and notably nobody had known of its existence. The entire work was written down on parchment and illustrated with countless colored drawings, and he immediately suspected that it was produced sometime in the second half of the 13th century. Since that time, the unreadable work has been known as the Voynich manuscript. And the next part is what happened next. So I think we'll wait on that because we're already almost at 15 minutes. And like the Voynich manuscript, I like to be a mystery. So what happens next? Well, look it up on the internet. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Give us a like. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube on the replay. And next week I'm hoping to make that dual broadcast. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and blessed be.